So today we are going to talk about relationship review. What is this relationship review? One thing I always feel is in any kind of relationship there will come a point where you will have lot of small things which bothers you in that relationship about the other person, but you will try to not share it because you feel like you might disappoint them. They might leave you, they might do something, they might get angry, they might be disappointed. All the reasons we have in a relationship, we try to avoid sharing them, just keep it with ourselves because we don't want to ruin the relationship in any way. Now what I strongly feel is these kind of small niggles which are there about the other person usually comes up in a fight. When you are in a mode where you just want to express everything that is in your mind, you are like, this is my time, I am going to dump every small things which I have dumped in my heart. I'm going to let it out and just share it with the person, whether they are going to take it or not. Well, sharing such things during a fight might make the other person feel like, do you really see me that way? Do you think am I that kind of a person? Or they will simply respond in their own way. Everybody has their own way of responding to certain things which the other person says, and whether you are able to take it or not depends on the person, and how they respond to that is also dependent on the person. Now for these little things, these little niggles which we have in a relationship, say friendship, partnership, or whatever it is, marriage, every kind of relationship, for these kind of niggles I have come up with a concept called relationship review. So now what is this relationship review? The whole thought behind this concept of relationship review is to be able to create a space where both persons involved in the relationship can have a space where they can just simply express without having any filters on, and be honest and be expressive in their thoughts about the things they want to share. All those small niggles which I spoke about before, it's simply having that space to be able to share them, not for the other person to justify it, not for the other person to say I'm doing these things because of this, or giving any reasons or anything. No, the space is just to be able to express for both the parties. You share your stuff, I share my stuff, we both listen each other's issues or whatever it is, and we move on with our own lives. Simple. So like I said before, the important thought is to put the other person's perspective or thoughts as the priority, and not put yourself or the things said about you as the priority. The priority is for the person to be able to express things which are bothering them in a relationship. That's the priority. So without justifying it, without trying to give reasons to it or trying to do anything about it, it allows you to think about it. It allows you to discuss about it later if needed, and if things can be worked on, it can be worked on mutually, trying to have a conversation and trying to actually understand the other person's thoughts on what is actually bothering them, to get to know the other person thoughts in detail. Simple. But this can be done only when both the people involved in the relationship understand that the relationship is valued higher than the ego they carry. So if you are someone who can't take things from anybody, when someone says something, you just can't take any kind of critical review or even simple review about yourself, then it's not going to work. It's not for you. Let's keep it that way. So if someone is manipulative, someone is an expert at guilt tripping, someone is has the ability to make the other person feel really bad about them, don't even try. So it has to be someone who is who is emotionally intelligent, who knows how to handle emotions, who knows how to give respect to others' emotions. It is for people who actually care for the other person's needs and are willing to put in the effort needed to understand them, to acknowledge them, to make them feel heard, and to be able to give that space to express. And the effort made here is done by both. Relationship cannot run on single wheel. It's run by, if it's two people involved, it has to be run by two people. So if effort is put here, effort has to be put here as well, in their own way. Now say for example, one person says, hey, you know how you casually make fun of my parents because you feel it's funny? After a while, when I'm thinking about it, kind of bothers me, and I would like you to not do that in the future because it kind of hurts me in some way. So I hope you understand that. So in this, you are able to share your points, put your point across, and you are also putting the thing which you would like them to do for you to feel better. So it's not about they will have to put it into action immediately. It's not that. It's just that you were able to put your point across. Now, how the other person perceives it, how the other person sees it, whether they see it as an issue or not, that is the point of discussion for later part. In the review part, it's just about expressing and putting your thoughts across. Simple. So no justification, no explanation, nothing. And likewise, the other person, after you have finished all your points and put things across, the other person will do the same, and you will have all the points shared with each other. Now, in this review, it's not about sharing only the things which bothers you. It's also about appreciating the other person's efforts which they have put in, which they are working on, the small changes, the things like showcase arranged very well, which you have noticed, where they have put in the effort to do something new with it, and you have recognized it, and now you are sharing that, because when you share that, they feel acknowledged for their effort, they feel seen, they feel appreciated, and sharing things like what makes them the best person in your eyes. And doing such a thing not only makes you understand the other person better, doing such a thing allows you to understand each other better, and also create a bond which makes the relationship stronger. Because what can be better than being recognized, being acknowledged, being seen, being heard in a relationship, and actually feel validated for your existence in the relationship from the other person's perspective. So what I do is I try to do this with my close friends. After a certain period of time, even if you are creating a new friend, say for example, you have gotten to a phase where you are comfortable with each other, you kind of share things with each other, and you are in a space where you can talk about everything in your life with them, then I feel when you are comfortable in that zone, it is time for doing a relationship review or a friendship review to let them know that if something is bothering about me and you feel that there are things which I should be working on, or we should be working on, let's talk about it. So two things will always be there. Like I said, first thing is, what do you like about me? Second thing is, what are the things you think I should be working on or we should be working on? This is done for both the sides. Personally, I feel texting works well because I always feel like verbally we are not very upright with things. We always try to add more filters and try to and blend our words to always make the other person not feel hurt in any way, because we are very cautious when you are using verbal communication to share or express things. we either back off way too much or we are too upright when we are fighting. So we are either too harsh or too soft. We need to find a middle ground to be able to honestly express. But if you are in a space where you are in that zone to express things face to face, do that. But in my experience, texting works well, or writing a letter, whatever, to express in it in a way where you don't try to tweak the words to mellow it down, because with using different words, you always try to mellow things down to not make it intense or not make it sound like it's a very big deal. But it is a big deal for you. You don't want to make it sound that way because you feel like the other person will feel, oh my god, you really think this is a big issue for you. So that feeling shouldn't have that space there. It doesn't have any role there, because the thought is prioritizing your thoughts, prioritizing your needs from the other person, and sharing that without mending words. So this can be done, say, once in 3 months or 6 months, depending on your preference. Like if it's a normal relationship where it's going well, you don't have much going on in you about the other person where it is bothering you, it can be done in 6 months time once. If it's something which you feel has to be worked on a consistent basis, where the relationship is already on the wall and now both the parties have woken up and thought that, okay, it's time to work on the relationship and make things right, do it for 15 days once or once a month. But it's always about trying to be honest. It's always about trying to express things clearly and get it across. Don't try to hold, when you are getting such an opportunity to express things, don't hold back on things thinking what if it happens, if you are thinking what if it happens, what if something happens to the relationship, you are already going to suffer a lot, because you know that there is no space for you to actually express things, because there is some kind of fear attached to the relationship. So that is the reason this can only be done when both the people involved understand that the priority is the relationship. And to make it work, you have to understand that there has to be a space for it to be actually done in the effective way possible, because if it's forced upon somebody, it just won't work. So the importance of relationship has to be the thought, and the priority has to be given to the relationship. What this relationship review actually allows you to do is make notes of things which you really feel like has to be shared across, the issues, the niggles, the small changes which the other partner has made, the efforts being made, the appreciation which you normally fail to give, because you are not brought up that way where you casually appreciate others' efforts. Maybe have this space, have the relationship review as the space to actually express how much they mean to you. Because if others' existence is not validated by you, and you always have the thought that they should understand it without verbally saying it, there is some kind of imbalance which will affect the relationship in some way. And that is the reason in this space there is no space for blaming, manipulation, trying to become emotional and trying to make the situation all about themselves. It just cannot be that. The focus cannot be a person. The focus has to be the relationship. It is two people involved, and both have their own flaws, their own goodness, their own amazing stuff, and each of them share in this space. about whatever it is, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, or a thing they think the other person should work on. Simple. So what this basically does, what does relationship review actually does? It allows you to be seen, heard, acknowledged, and validated. If all these things are done and your presence actually matters to the other person, you know that you are in a safe relationship. The bond is stronger and the relationship is growing and maturing like a wine. With age becomes better. So try it with your friends, with your family, but understand that it can be done only in a space where you feel like you understand that when you are sharing certain things honestly, in a straightforward manner, you have that space and the other person will respect that space without trying to make things in a way and make it about themselves, because there are many people who will do that. So understand that this can be done with people who actually value the relationship. So try it out and see what they actually want to tell about you, because I feel like when people actually express things verbally or through text or through letters about how much you mean to them, it just makes the 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 existence of a person have a purpose, have a meaning, and I feel it is very important, because we all want to be validated in some way, we all want to be loved, cared, cherished, celebrated in some way, and if that is done by a person we care about, we love, life is beautiful. So thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, comment section. I will see you in the next one.